Joining me is Rowan Dean, Editor-in-Chief of The Spectator Australia, presenter on Outsiders and Sky News every Sunday at 9 a.m, and host of his own show on Fridays at 7 p.m. Rowan, for $9 billion a year minimum, and that's just from the federal government, plus billions more from state governments, what actually are we getting for all that money?
Well, Andrew, I suspect that the $9 billion is a massive low threshold and underestimation of what we're actually spending. But let's go with the $9 billion figures. Remember, in Britain, they're already talking about 40 to 45 billion pounds. So that's 10 times as much per annum that they're talking about over there. What have we got for our 9 billion? Normally, if a government was spending with this sort of largesse, you'd have a football stadium or a new highway or something to show for it. But what we have, Andrew, is ruination. We have ruination of the environment, we have ruination of our economy, and we have a ruination of our politics. And let me just explain. The ruination of the environment is absolutely catastrophic and tragic. These transmission lines, you go out and see them crisscrossing the beautiful farming land, destroying people's freehold land, crisscrossing the native bush. The wind turbines, fortunately, David Crisafulli blocked one of them up in Queensland. Others are shutting down now because they're worthless. But anyway, the destruction they've done to the environment, koala bears being clubbed to death being the least of it, out in our oceans as well. The destruction is not so much what's happening now, but when we have to clean up this mess in probably 20 years' time, when they will be absolutely antiquated. People won't even know what they are or what they were ever for. People will be looking at these weird things that have fallen down all over the countryside, impossible to decompose, cost a fortune, cost farmers a fortune to clear from their land. Solar farms, the same thing. The pollution of the environment by this stuff is catastrophic. That's just the environmental ruination. Then we've got the business and investment ruination. We've seen mining, something like 80% of mines, I think it's higher than 80% of mines no longer get approved. So a massive investment that isn't coming into the country. That investment goes overseas, meaning jobs are disappearing. We've also had, obviously, manufacturing disappearing if mining and investment associated with mining disappears. So we've seen a massive loss of big business, but also small business because of the huge cost of electricity bills, which drives small businesses to the wall. Many increasing numbers of people just simply can't afford to set up that cafe or run that small business or whatever it is, so they pack it in. So we've had the ruination of the environment, the ruination of business, and we've had the ruination of politics, Andrew, and that's perhaps the most corrupting of all. The money you mentioned, the $9 billion, goes somewhere. A lot of it goes to China, but also a lot of it goes into the pockets of investors, and those investors have totally corrupted our political system, I believe. The last election showed that. We don't have a major party that's opposed to net zero. We don't have a major political party. We only have one nation, really, and parts of the Nationals and a couple of other smaller parties who are opposed to this absolute destruction of our economy and of our land. The only logical conclusion is that our politics are completely corrupted by renewables investors, to the point that even those politicians you look up to and admire are probably somewhere or other in the pocket of these sinister corporations or organizations or lobby groups or investors. So they've destroyed our environment, they've destroyed our investment, our business life, and they've destroyed our politics. Not a lot to show for our $9 billion that we've spent, Andrew. Well,
there's another corruption you haven't mentioned, Rowan, and that is the corruption of truth-telling. I mean, I don't know that they're all in the pockets of big business or big green dollars or whatever. I reckon it's also that they're afraid of simply telling the truth to people, kids that are being indoctrinated into this thing for 2 generations now, grown up to be young voters, and so they've fed the lies that'll get politicians re-elected. We are not hearing enough people telling the truth about what's really going on with the climate. I mean, that is a real corruption, a cultural corruption.
And an intellectual corruption, absolutely, an academic corruption. Wherever you look, Andrew, it's ruination that this climate change nonsense has brought. You mentioned Kevin Rudd saying it'll only cost $1. I remember as well Paul Howes, the AWU leader at the time in the Gillard-Rudd years, saying that if climate change policies cost one job, the union movement would be against it. He committed, he vowed that if one job went, the unions would stand up against this stuff. We've seen jobs, destroyed in this country. Not a peep out of the unions. It's shameful.
I think they jumped down his throat after he said that, and is no longer in politics, so maybe it was all too much for him too. Yeah, well, Paul Howes, if you're watching, hello to you. Britain, honestly, at least they're seeing a bit the light, or they claim to be. Can I just ask you, I want to show this again. I played earlier a clip from Ted O'Brien, Rowan. I've got to come back to this. This is the new Deputy Liberal leader. What do you notice about this clip of him today, about to deliver his little spiel on this new tax on superannuation?
Well, it's either some very nice wallpaper or some very nice flags behind him. Three completely separate flags. Can't help but notice that. I thought the coalition had a policy that they were only going to have one flag. So obviously that went a lot, disappeared with
That
Peter
didn't
Dutton.
last long.
And that is
Rowan.
disgraceful as well. And we need an opposition that is an opposition. And the Australian public deserve that. If the Liberal Party can't provide it, then it's up to someone else to provide it. But we definitely need an opposition that opposes the cultural madness being inflicted upon us by Labor, and also opposes this net zero madness. That's what we deserve as a democracy. Otherwise, we're not functioning properly. And it was the Liberal Party, it was Sir Robert Menzies, who was opposed to socialism in any and all of its forms. There is no way you can describe net zero as anything other than modern socialism mixed with a bit of corporate fascism. The Liberal Party must oppose it, otherwise it's not worthy of the name of opposition.
I think it's even more raw than that. It's anti-capitalism. It's a way to deindustrialise Western society, so that, you know, the only healthy form of energy you can get is from rubbing two sticks together. Hey, how are we advanced? We're back in the caves. Very nice to talk to you again, Rowan. More next week. Thank you very much.